So if you've been struggling with weight loss and you're frustrated, then you're going to want to watch today's video because I'm going to teach you about something that you might not even realize is sabotaging you. And this is one of the things that impacted me for years when it came to my weight loss results. And it's the biggest thing that trips up my clients. I'm Genny Tonin, and I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I work with women who are 40 plus and struggling to learn how to lose that excess weight. And I teach how to do this in a way that, as a holistic nutritionist, encompasses your whole being, not just your diet and exercise, but your whole you. And I do so in a way that is practical and sustainable, doesn't require you to feel deprived and restricted, and allows you to not only look better because you've lost weight, but feel better, to have more energy, to have your hormones, in a better ratio, to feel better overall, and ultimately move forward for the rest of your life, empowered and excited and feeling your best. So weight loss, it's a struggle for so many of us. And personally, I dealt with this for years. You see, back in my late 20s, I was diagnosed with a hormonal condition that's quite common. It's called PCOS. If you don't know about it, basically it affects women and their hormones are not in the right ratios. And it causes all kinds of symptoms, from infertility and cycle irregularities to excess weight that's really hard to lose, can cause skin troubles and hair issues and all kinds of things. In a lot of ways, it's a lot like perimenopause. So if you're struggling with that, I know how that feels. I dealt with that way before that was even a word I was aware of. And all my struggles, well, it caused me to try everything. You named the diet, I tried it. You name the workout plan or the weight loss program or the book or the whatever. I pretty much tried everything I could to figure this out for myself. And I failed. I failed a lot. I failed so many times. And for whatever reason, I think it's stubbornness. Some people might call it stupidity, but whatever. For whatever reason, I didn't give up. And I kept on working at this and I kept on persevering, even though it was really hard and really isolating and it just felt so painful. But I was determined to figure out something that I could do that didn't require extreme, drastic measures, from a medical intervention. And eventually I succeeded. But like I said, I had so many failures along the way. And so if you're in that place, I feel for you. I know what it's like. But the fact that you haven't given up on yourself, that's the first thing I want to touch on. If you're here, if you're watching this, if you're looking for solutions, then that alone is a great indication that you're going to figure this out too. Because that's a hard thing to do in this world when you're trying to take care of your life and your responsibilities and figure out how to take care of yourself and feel better. So good for you for that. That's my little side tangent there, not what the video is about. But anyway, with all of my struggles and all of my failures, well, eventually that's what ultimately led me to go to school for holistic nutrition. And because I was looking for solutions, I was looking for a way to figure this out for myself. And what I uncovered after I don't know how many failed attempts was that the thing that was holding me back the most was my mindset. And in fact, that's the very first thing I teach when I'm working in my one-on-one and group coaching programs to help women with weight loss, the Midlife Metabolism Fix. Well, the very first thing I teach them about when they start working with me is mindset, because that's the make or break difference. Understanding how you're thinking about weight loss, understanding about how you're mentally approaching this, understanding your belief systems, your conscious beliefs, your subconscious beliefs. Well, that is going to determine if you succeed or if you don't succeed. It's like that that book, that storybook that they used to read kids, I think back in the 1950s. I've never even seen it, but I've heard about it. The Little Engine That Could. And I just know about it. It's like a little train trying to go up a hill, and he's chugging up the hill, and it's really hard and slow going. But he's saying to himself, I think I can, I think I can. And eventually he succeeds. And that's the whole story. And the moral of the story is he believed in himself. And even though it was hard and he felt like he was barely moving forward, because he believed in himself, eventually he got to the top of the hill. Well, it's the same thing with this. We need to understand how our mindset is impacting us, resolve any issues, any brain blocks, as I call them, that are keeping us stuck, preventing our success. And then once we understand that, when we put the right tools into place, well, then the results happen. So let's talk about mindset. Let's understand it. Let me explain a bit about it to you today, and see if any of these things are things that you say out loud, that you think to yourself, that are keeping you from getting those results you want. Because once you're aware of it, then you can do things to help it and resolve it. And then when you understand what to do with your body to help it, well, with that new mindset, that new mental approach, then you're going to be unstoppable. So like I said, this is the biggest obstacle that I dealt with and that I had to resolve in order to get weight loss results. And it's the same for client after client after client that I work with. When we understand that mindset plays such an important role in realizing any goal, be it the ability to lose weight or get a difficult degree, build a career, have anything that matters to us, it allows us to recognize which behaviors are allowing us to succeed and which behaviors are preventing us from accomplishing whatever it is that we're setting out to do. So there's different, what I call brain blocks, that impact our mindset. The first one is scarcity. And that's the belief that there's not enough of something. That can be food, resources, time, money, energy, or whatever else. But it's the belief that there's not enough of whatever that will allow you to accomplish the goal that you're looking to accomplish. So if you catch yourself with thoughts, or maybe saying out loud things like, I just don't have enough time, or I don't have enough energy, or I just have too much going on to devote my time to this, or I need more whatever, or this is just how I am. I'm never going to get any better. Those are all examples of scarcity. And the brutal truth is that if you approach your ability to lose weight, if you approach your overall health from a place of lack, from not having enough, then that's the experience that you're going to see. Because the truth is, your current situation, whatever that is, well, in this life, everything is temporary. So your current situation is temporary. And that means that positive changes, the things that you want to have happen in your life, well, they're absolutely possible, because whatever you're facing right now is temporary. So countless people, so many of my clients, I've done it personally, they've been able to turn around their health challenges and their weight loss challenges, but only when they were able to believe in themselves. They also, of course, needed to put in effort and dedication and consistency, but the first thing that they needed was that belief that they could do it. I want you to really work on expecting the best possible outcome, and then being willing to show up and do what it takes to get that outcome. Now, the next brain block that I see all the time around weight loss is actually something that surprises a lot of people when I say it, and that's fear. The fear of putting yourself out there, the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, the fear of things being different than they are right now. We are creatures of habit. And even if we're miserable, most of us tend to like the predictable, even if we're not happy in the predictable, versus changing things up and going to the unknown where things aren't as predictable. Because how are things going to be different? It's just very uncomfortable for humans to change. That's fairly common. That's pretty natural. So saying things like, I hate starting something new, or I hate change, or what if this doesn't work for me, or what if I can't do it, or what if I fail, or what if this is too hard, or different things like that are examples of how fear thoughts can be in there preventing you from creating the positive change that you want in your life. And the reality check is that if you're creating change in your life, it's hard in the beginning, no matter what. It's hard, it's uncomfortable, it's new, it's foreign, it's not automatic. But that's okay, because on the other side of that, that's where success is. That's where the results are. That is where things that are beyond your best expectations, well, that's where they lie. And the truth is, it's always scary for us to start something new. Just think about starting a new job, or starting at a new school, or a new relationship, or anything else in your life that's been new. It's scary because it's uncomfortable, because it's unknown, but almost always it turns out to be better than you expected. And anytime you're doing something outside of that comfort zone, well, you're being vulnerable. And we don't want to be vulnerable, right? It feels uncomfortable because it's not comfortable. But this, like I said, this is where the growth happens. And successful people in any avenue, but especially in weight loss, they move forward and they take action, even though they feel scared, even though they're not sure, even though this is all unknown. They feel the fear and they do it anyway. And now the next brain block, well, this is something that unfortunately has been very near to not so dear to my heart for most of my life. And I didn't even realize it until I started addressing it. And that is perfectionism. And I didn't realize I was a perfectionist because I'm anything but perfect. I mean, I'm so far from perfect that it's not even funny. But I guess we all are, right? But I'm especially aware of my own faults and my own shortcomings. So I never identified as a perfectionist. But perfectionism, I mean, it's something that so many women struggle with it, whether you realize it or not. And it comes from, a lifetime of social conditioning, right? Especially as a woman, that makes us think we need to be perfect in so many ways in order to be worthy and loved and successful in anything we do, right? I mean, think about it. As a woman, you're supposed to be beautiful, smart, make lots of money, be a perfect spouse, be a perfect parent, be a perfect employer or employee. You're supposed to be funny and make great meals, and your home's supposed to be beautiful, and you're supposed to have these Instagram worthy vacations and right? If you listen to any kind of marketing or anything like that, it's all about figuring out how to hide your wrinkles and mask your imperfections, right? That's what we're taught. So this perfectionism, well, it's a trauma response, because like I said, we're all so far from perfect. And we're especially aware of our own shortcomings. And especially if you go on social media and you have people that are more than happy to point out all of your shortcomings to you publicly. So examples of perfectionism when it comes to stopping you from having success with weight loss, well, it can be things like, I already screwed up, so I'm just going to forget it and I'll start again later. Or I can't do everything I'm supposed to do right now, so I'm not going to do anything. Or I'm going to wait until conditions are better time. There's no holidays. It's not vacation time. It's blah, 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 blah before I go ahead with it. Or I still have so much to learn before I can get started. These are all examples of some perfectionism mentality that can keep us back. And the truth is that perfectionism, it's the killer of dreams, because never are you going to encounter perfect conditions in this lifetime. At least I never have. Not for 1 minute have things been perfect. Success comes when you're consistently applying imperfect action. So, the dog throws up, you're late for work, your car's not working, your kids forgot to tell you about parent-teacher interviews. I mean, unexpected stuff comes up constantly, right? You're not going to have a perfect day. Things are going to be busy and hectic and chaotic and unpredictable, and unexpected things happen. We have to learn how to do our best in the current situation we're in, whatever that is, and take action, even if things aren't perfect, because that imperfect, consistent action, well, that takes us closer to our outcomes. That moves us towards success. Your action just needs to be action. You don't have to get it all perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out right now, today. You can take one little step. Maybe it's committing to drinking more water, or going to bed 15 minutes earlier, or walking around the block after dinner. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something to get started, so that you have momentum and something to build from, and you start feeling better about your situation and how much control you have. And having that positive momentum feeds more positive experiences and outcomes. So move forward. Please stop having perfectionism stop you from getting started. The more you can learn how to let go of perfectionism, the easier it is for you to move forward, period. And as a little side tangent, move forward. Well, that's my mantra in life. You can't see it, but on the whiteboard I have behind this camera that I'm looking at is in giant letters, it says move forward. And I'm constantly working to remind myself of that, so that I don't get stuck in negative thought processes, in patterns and loops that stop me from finding progress in whatever it is that I'm working on in that particular moment. And as I always say to clients, we are looking for progress, not perfection. I say this to my kids all the time. I'm not looking for them to have straight A+ in school. I'm looking for progress. I'm not looking for the room to be perfectly clean, although I would love it, but I'm looking for a bit of progress, like not having 50 dirty socks on the floor and the bed never being made. I'm looking for a little bit better than that. Anyway, the next block that keeps people stuck so much, especially in this age of information that we're in, where you get a billion opinions about everything, is analysis paralysis. So analysis paralysis is so real when it comes to weight loss. It's not funny, but it almost is. It's so crazy. Analysis paralysis is when you overthink everything and you get in your head about every decision, and you waste so much time and energy trying to figure out what the best decision is for you. So examples are things like, should I be vegan or keto or carnivore? Or maybe I should do paleo, or maybe I should count calories, or maybe I should do whatever the trend is, right? Or another example is, I can't decide if I should do cardio or strength training or HIIT. Or I heard that there's all these supplements that can help me lose weight. Which one should I take? And then you spend a gazillion hours analyzing all these different supplements. Or then you spend a day or a week figuring out what gym in your neighborhood is the best to join, and you never end up joining anything. And then you wonder, should you watch your fat intake or your carbs? I mean, there's so many examples in the weight loss space. It's ridiculous. And the truth is, you can analyze things until your head explodes. But by analyzing them, you're never going to find the answer. You're going to find a million people out there shouting at you that their way is the way. But the truth is that testing things out for yourself, talking with others, not just listening, talking with others who have taken action, well, these are the ways to help you figure out what choice that you want to make right now. What might work best for you, what might feel best for you. But clarity only comes when we take personal action. So you need to start taking action. If it's not the right thing for you, that's okay. You actually got clarity from that because you figured out that whatever it is that you tried wasn't for you, which narrows down what you're going to try next time. Clarity comes when you take action, you learn from it, and you adapt. And now another brain block that, I mean, I've struggled with all of these brain blocks. I'm not going to pretend at all that I haven't. And I catch myself struggling with them still about lots of things in life, but I'm aware of them. But this one is especially painful. And if you struggle with this, then I'm so sorry because, I mean, it takes a lot of work to overcome this, and it's low self-worth. And so many women, I mean, I could cry if I let myself right now. I won't. But so many women struggle with this. And it's funny, but it's not funny. So many men don't understand this. When I talk about this to my husband, when I explain to him what the internal dialogue is of somebody with low self-worth, with low self-esteem, like he can't even understand that my brain would try to tell me these things. But anyway, self-worth, self-esteem issues, they are the number one block that I see that holds clients back from realizing their goals, from getting success. So it's a sneaky one and it's a persistent one. We have to be smarter and stronger than it. And the truth is that I'm going to tell you this, and I really, really, really want you to understand it. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You are so much more worthy than you can ever even begin to comprehend. But things like feeling not pretty enough, not skinny enough, not smart enough, not young enough, not qualified enough, not athletic enough, not healthy enough, not blank enough, right? These are all low self-worth, low self-esteem, bullshit narratives in our head. And again, a lot of that is societal conditioning. And I'm not for it. So if you're going to endorse that attitude, like, get away from me, because it's not okay. I don't want my daughters to grow up thinking that. I don't want to feel it for myself. And I don't want my clients to struggle with it. I don't want any woman or any person to struggle with it. There's a great quote about this. It's not who you think you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not. And it's an unknown source. I don't know where it comes from, but it's so true. Thinking that, you're not worth or worthy of an investment, be it time, money, energy, consistency, self-care, whatever it is, thinking that you're not together enough to resolve this, thinking that you're too lazy, weak-willed, indecisive, or whatever other derogatory words you can use for yourself to figure this out. Those are all examples of low self-worth, low self-esteem, thinking it's your fault, that you're a failure, thinking that you lack something, that you lack follow-through or ability. Those are all examples. So when you catch yourself thinking, or even worse, saying those things, just stop it. Just for me, just do yourself a favor and just stop it. And don't let yourself do that anymore. Because the truth is, I don't know who you are any more than you know who I am. But I know one thing about you for sure, and that is that you have so much potential. You have so many gifts to offer this world. And when that low self-esteem and low self-worth gets to speak, well, it holds you back from offering those gifts to the world. You are absolutely 100% valuable and worth, all the health, all the wealth, all the happiness, all of the success that there is. You are worth it. You are a living, breathing human being. That automatically makes you worth it. And if you can't learn to love yourself, to value your self-worth, to value your deservingness of good things, then losing weight, improving your health, like any of that, that's not going to make you happy either. Nothing is going to make you happy if you don't learn how to start to recognize your self-worth. And again, This is a work in progress. But true happiness, true success, they come from within. You know, as airy-fairy as that might sound, it's true. That all the accolades in the world, all the achievements, all the whatever external stuff out there, you know, the most beautiful home, the most beautiful car, the most expensive vacations, the most beautiful diamond ring, or whatever other bullshit that you've been taught to believe about external value, none of that is ever going to make you happy if you don't have self-worth, self-esteem, honor, and respect yourself. And if you have children, especially daughters, if you have poor self-worth, if you have low self-esteem, you're modeling that to them. And that is one of the things that snapped me out of that, is that I did not want my kids for 1 second to feel those feelings, because I'm not going to cry again. I'm not going to cry, but because they're so painful. So if you're struggling with that, catch yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself that you're worthy and call out that bullshit. Don't let that inner voice tell you that anymore. Your value is not diminished by any outcome in your life. You're worthy, period. End of story. And then the final brain block I'm going to talk about today, well, that's victimhood. And again, this ties in with this whole self-worth, self-esteem issue, and it's complex. They're sort of interconnected, but it's failing to take responsibility for your experiences and blaming all the things around you, not knowing how to take accountability. And that can sound harsh, and especially when I just went on a rant about self-worth and self-esteem and how you're so valuable. But it's sort of this paradox where you are valuable, you are wonderful, but at the same time, you need to take accountability, good or bad, for your situations. And that's not blaming you if you're in a negative situation or you've had bad things happen to you. There's no blame here. I mean, I've had absolutely atrocious things happen to me and happen to people that I'm very close with in my life. So it's not that I'm saying that you blame yourself for those things, but I'm saying you need to take accountability. If you're in a situation that you don't like, you need to take accountability for that. You need to learn how to take action for it. Whatever circumstances cause that, within your control or not, you need to now take accountability for changing your circumstances. But examples of victimhood, well, they're sneaky too. I mean, it can just be thinking things like, I just have too much to do. It's not possible for me to do this. Or I'm in a really hard time in my life. Or I can't do anything about this because it's genetic or hormonal or whatever, right? Or I'm too old, or there's just nothing I can do about it, or I'm just going to have to live with my symptoms because of the age I'm at, or whatever. These are all examples when it comes to weight loss of victimhood. And there's a motivational speaker from back in the day named Dennis Waitley, I think is his name. And he has a great quote about this. There's two primary choices in life: to accept conditions as they exist, or accept the responsibility for changing them. So we don't want to be a victim and say, there's nothing I can do about this. We need to accept that we're not satisfied with the conditions that we're in, and then realize that it's up to us to change them. And this is especially true when it comes to weight loss and improving our overall health and well-being. Unfortunately, there is no magical fairy godmother that's going to come down and wave her magic wand and make it all better, right? If we need to drink more water, if we need to eat differently, if we need to exercise better, or whatever else is required by us, if we need to think better, if we need to change our mindset, we have to do that. You can't have somebody else exercise for you, or eat better for you, or think differently for you, right? You can have people help you and support you and teach you and guide you along the way. You can have somebody that even potentially that prepares your food. If you have the resources to hire a chef to prepare your food, well, that's great. But the chef can't eat the food for you. You have to do that for yourself, right? You have to take accountability for making these changes. No one else, I don't care how much they love you or they want to help you, no one else can do it for you. Your ability to succeed with your goals, it's completely reliant on you. Success requires you being in the driver's seat. Like I said, no one can do this for you except for you. You have to own the experience. You have to be radically responsible, radically accountable for your experiences, your approach, your willingness to be open and learn and adapt and progress and eventually succeed. So instead of letting these brain blocks continue to hold you back, I want you to think about this, listen to the video again if you need to, and see what feels like it's tripping you up when it comes to weight loss. Where are you getting tripped up mentally in your thinking, your mindset approach to this? And as always, I really hope that this helps. I hope that this helps you to be aware of something that maybe you weren't aware of before, so that you can benefit and learn and grow. And if this helped you in any way, then I want you to be sure to subscribe to this new channel, because it shows me that this content is valuable and is helping people, and it's going to allow me to create more information like this and help you get to wherever it is that you want to be. I'll see you in the next video.